What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? That was a terrible clap. I apologize. Anyway, today I have a Streamlight TLR-7 HL-X SUB is what we're going to talk about today. So the standard TLR-7 is going to work well on those compact and full-size guns. Ideally on a Glock 19 size gun, but it will work on any most compact and full-size guns. When you go to the sub model is made for the micro compact smaller pistol. So there's 4 different versions of the sub. There's one for a Sig P365 family of guns with a Sig proprietary rail. There's one for the Glock compact rail. The one I have here is 1913 rail, and there's a Springfield Hellcat version. Now I thought the Springfield Hellcat had a 1913 rail, but I'm not a Springfield Hellcat expert. All 4 of those lights have the same features, just a different type of adapter to integrate to the rail. Now, when you see the HL-X in the model number, that means it's a higher lumen, higher performance, and it comes with a rechargeable battery. So this is a dual fuel light. You can use the cool guy included SL9B, whatever Streamlight's model number is. That is a rechargeable battery that has the USB-C built right into it, so you can plug it in right into the battery. But again, being it's dual fuel, if that battery dies and you want to just use a CR123, you can do that as well. Now, as far as your performance, out of that rechargeable battery, you're going to get 1,000 lumens, 10,000 candela for up to 30 minutes. However, you can reprogram the light if you want the lumens and candela to be 50%, half of that. So 500 lumens, 5,000 candela, and now your runtime is going to be an hour. I almost said 1,000 hours. It's going to be an hour. For me, I want all the lumens and definitely all the candela I can get, so I wouldn't do that. But options are always a good thing. If you choose to use a CR123 instead of the rechargeable battery, you're going to get that 500 lumens, 5,000 candela for up to an hour. So pretty good performance. We're actually going to step outside and do the beam comparison now. I want to do it early. Very good beam out of a very small light. As always, I'm going to compare it to a bunch of different size lights. Not that I'm comparing the performance of a micro compact light to a big light, but just so you can see, is this light enough performance, lumens and candela for me, or do I need to go to something bigger? Before I do that, let me quickly thank Nachos, biggest supporter of my channel. I always like to thank them. They have hunting, fishing, camping, reloads, optics, pew-pews, all that stuff. They have a full selection of Streamlight products. They have a ton of Streamlight products. And they're always having good deals as well. So thank you to Nachos. Now let's go take a look at the beam. Streamlight TLR-7 SUB, 15 yards. Same TLR-7 now with the CR123. Okay, standard TLR-7A. All right, TLR-7 with the high lumen head. Doesn't look all that better. All right, TLR-1 HL-X. Now that is much better. Last but not least, the X300 Turbo. Look how tight the candela is now. What'd you think of the beam? Not bad for a very, very small light. As far as the controls are very, very simple, very easy. I love them. So there's 2 different types of paddles. There's one paddle that are high and another set of paddle that are low controls. I prefer the high ones, but once again, options are always a good thing. And you just push a little pin in here and you can swap between the high and the low controls. As you see, I have high on both sides. A quick press, the light's going to stay on constant. And then if you hold it down momentary, the light will only stay on for as long as you hold it. And it's the same controls on either side of the light. So the controls are great. I love the controls. The other thing I want to stress, if you're going to put a light on your gun and use it for self-defense, I highly recommend you take a good quality low light training class. I don't think you're prepared to use a light for self-defense in a low light or no light scenario if you haven't got some training. Things are a little tougher in the dark than it is during the day. And just a suggestion. This light does have strobe, but you can enable it and disable it. I'm not a big fan of strobe, so I'm very happy that you can disable it. But once again, options are always a good thing. So Streamlight has the 10-tap programmable buttons. You push either button 9 times, you hold it on the 10th. The light will flash, and that will either enable strobe or disable strobe, and it's as simple as that. The keys on here, so the little cutout, the little plastic piece in the rail that integrates with the cutout on the handguard. Streamlight gives you 4 or 5 different ones to fit a wider variety of guns, and this is a simple solution, and it works extremely well. Not only is it going to allow you to work with a wider variety of guns, it's also going to help you put the light in the exact spot you want. So if you want the light to stick out a little further or be really snug up against a trigger guard, depending on the size hands you have, a holster, or whatever. The head of the light is and can be used as a lockout as well. You kind of do like a half turn, and that will put it in lockout mode. So if it's in a range bag or something, you don't want it to get pressed, there's a quick lockout there for you. 2.5 inches, 2.5 ounces. Right now, at the time I'm making the video, I'm seeing it $160, $180 in that area right now. Of course, there'll be links you know where. Hopefully, I can find you a good deal. Now, let's quickly talk about the testing before we get into the pros and cons. Once again, let me give you that friendly reminder to get out there and do some training in low light conditions. As far as the testing, we did the basic drop test to make sure it could withstand that. We did the waterproof test to make sure the waterproof is working. And we did the runtime test to make sure it lasted as long as Streamlight said it would. And it passed all those 3, so we moved on to the shooting portion of this test. Now, this light is not made for a gun this size. This is a Glock 19 clone. Again, it's made for like a micro compact gun, but ammo is really expensive. I was testing this gun. I was testing the Swamp Fox optic, so I threw it on here. I don't think it affected the test at all in any way, and again, ammo is not cheap, but I did a lot of the normal testing I would do when I'm reviewing a gun, drawing from the holster, transitions, banging steel, magazine exchanges, all the normal stuff I do to test a gun, and the light was on the gun for the entire time. Somewhere around just over north of 600 rounds now in that area, I believe. At least 600 rounds, if not more. I also did some, actually, you'll see during the day when I was shooting, I was manipulating the light. And that may seem silly at first, but doing low light shooting is harder than shooting during the day. It's tough to find a place and time to shoot low light. So shooting during the day, it's still a great way to test the light and a great way to work on my low light shooting skills of manipulating the light, turning it on, shooting, turning it off, reloading, turning it back on, shooting. You know, it's a very, very perishable skill. With that said, I did do some low light shooting with this. I was able to go to my local range, the Elite Indoor Range here in Rhode Island. If you're anywhere in the area, go check them out. Beautiful facility. They let me, I'm testing like 10 different weapon lights right now, so they let me take over a range. We dropped the lights. We did some low light shooting. Really good training. Again, shooting low light is a very, very perishable skill if you don't do it often. So based on all that testing, the biggest pro for me is going to be the switches. I think the switches are laid out perfectly. They're easy to reach. The controls are very simple between constant and momentary. I like the option of having a high switch or a low switch. Great job there. I think it has decent performance for a very small light. 1,000 lumens, 10,000 candela isn't bad for a very small light. Don't compare it to a 2-battery, much larger light. I like the removable rechargeable battery. Because it's removable, I like that it's rechargeable. I like the USB-C plugs right in, and more than anything else, I like that it's dual fuel. In a pinch, I can throw a CR123 in there, and that's dope. The key system that you can swap out will allow you to work with a wider variety of guns and suck it up exactly and put it exactly where you want on the rail. That's dope. Streamlight stuff is priced affordably. It's not through the roof, and they have a very good lifetime warranty. There's nothing I would change on this light. I think the features, of course, I always want more lumens and more candela, but that comes at a cost of runtime. So I wouldn't change anything on this light. I think it's set up the way I would set it up. I'm going to say overall, I think the TLR-7 family of lights is the best smaller, compact, micro compact type light for these smaller guns. Like the gun I carry most days has a full-size TLR-7. I don't think I could give it more of a blessing and a nod than trusting my life and my family's life to it. pretty much every single day. So that's what I think about the TLR-7. Now, let me thank Streamlight. Their support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Let me also thank Natchez. As I said earlier, they are the biggest supporter of the channel. The link's below if you want to check it out, get more information. Hopefully, I could find you a good deal. But most important, thank you guys for watching. It is truly appreciated. If you think I deserve it, like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. I appreciate the subscriptions. Santa appreciates the subscriptions. I can't speak, but I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed. Be good. Peace.